Kia ora and welcome to another episode of the Leadership Lounge. I'm Katie and I'm your host, and welcome to this space for healthcare leaders to take a breath, get a pause, get a fresh perspective on the work that you're doing. And there certainly is a lot of work going on right now. There's an awful lot of shifting, changing, uncertainty and unknownness out there. And I've equally had a week like that. I'm suddenly going, oh my goodness, the week is nearly over, and here we are, and I haven't got to the podcast yet. So normally I would do a little bit of research gathering around the topics that I want to share and chew over, but I am just shooting from the hip this week on a topic that really does connect in with that idea of this racingness, this pace and this busyness, and it's almost like we're on this treadmill that we cannot jump off, and it's getting faster and faster, and people are flinging things at you, and now you need to juggle and go uphill while racing, and you've got all these demands on you. And I guess the reason, I really hope that resonated, because I've just got a funny image now of that actually happening, and that's what it feels like right now. A lot of people, we have these conversations when I'm in coaching conversations with people, and it does become a lot around, there are more demands on your time than there is time to do it. So there's that component. There's a big chunk of stuff there, which has a whole load of issues in it. But there's also the other component about how you manage that energy and how you deal with that energy, and just really how you stay as well and as productive as you can in the face of all of this. There's no point denying, we can't just all kick back and take, the leisurely time that we want over stuff. There is a demand, there is pressure, and there is work to be done. And equally, we need to be able to look after ourselves and say, well. So I had a coaching client send me a message and say, look, it's really busy, it's really crazy. There's so much to do, there's so many demands. I'm going to cancel this session and I'll rebook for a month's time. And I completely respect and understand that sense, that state. I could almost feel the tension and the overwhelm in the email. And I went back in that gentle, challenging way that I delight in being able to hold both compassion and challenge in the same conversation. And I really understand. I said, that sounds really tough right now. And also, while I don't want to teach anyone to suck eggs, you do know that it's even more important to take some time out when you're feeling completely overwhelmed and busy and there's a huge amount of demands on you because there's high pressure. It's even more important that you take some time out. Why don't we do a shorter session, and why don't we do it online so it's as accessible and as easy for you as possible, but you're still getting what you need? And that's what we did. And we had a phenomenal session. We did a couple of things that were really supportive and helpful for that state, which is what I love about the one-to-one coaching I do. It's really personal, it's really specific, and it really enables what you need right now to manage for the next week or month or 6 months, whatever you're looking at. So why is it then that when we're caught up in this busyness that it's actually really hard to step off and prioritise taking some reflective time out? And in the quick scan I do, because I know I've got some stuff saved on this, and I was quickly looking at some of the articles, and there really is that evidence that actually the busier you get, the more important things like reflection or journaling or well-being become. Because it isn't sustainable, because we are not robots, and we need to be able to balance those things out. And it does come down to this idea of energy. And the quote that I found that was really ringing in my head, and I looked it up so I made sure I got it right, and it's a Zen proverb, that you should sit in meditation for 20 minutes a day. Unless you're too busy, then you should sit for an hour. So it's almost this invitation that actually the busier we get, the more important that time is. There was one article that I've got that causes this compound time. And it's this idea that taking some time out in whatever it is that is going to restore your energy or your creativity or your well-being actually pays you back dividends. And we see that when we look at some of the research around reflection and the ideas, some research studies that showed that just 15 minutes of reflection a day increases your productivity by 23%. So if you're stretched and overwhelmed and got loads of work to do, it feels completely counterintuitive to stop and do some reflection because you're like, I've got so much work to do, I have to get this work done. But stopping and reflecting actually makes you more productive. It's one of these ideas about where do you invest? It's I'm going to invest some time in the 15 minutes of reflection so that actually I'm even more productive tomorrow. Similarly, when I did the walk and talk sessions that I think I've mentioned before, where we gathered together and we'd amble around the park and have a bit of a conversation, one of the reasons, and it's really tragic, one of the reasons that people said to me that they couldn't get out, and this is their allotted break time, which even though technically they were working because they were sharing ideas and things with colleagues, but this allotted break time, they said, there's no way I can get away. There'll be too many emails that come in that time. And I really kind of like, I thought, oh my God, if we can't even step away for 20 minutes because of the amount of work, there's something wrong in that system. However, if you did take the 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes out, when you get back, you're actually going to get through the emails even quicker. So it is that idea of compounding. We're going to be a lot more synergistically, kind of like in the zone around stuff when we've taken that break out. Good example this morning, I was kind of like, I went for my walk around the park and I thought, oh yeah, I've got to get the podcast done today. What am I going to talk about? And I thought, look, just enjoy your walk, Kate. It's beautiful, gorgeous sunrise this morning. And seriously, I'd got halfway round and then I have in my head 20 ideas for different ideas. This time I remember to write them down rather than just leaving them scurrying around in my brain. So just that taking out just fills you with that potential and those options and that, oh yeah, I could do this. So that different way of problem solving and dealing with whatever it is on your plate. The session I had with the coaching client, they were able to realize the thing that was actually getting in the way the most, the thing that was weighing them down the most, and enable them to come up with a plan for what they were going to do about that. And we had just used some simple reflection tools and prompts to sort of work through that. Another example is how we connect in with the present moment. So when it's feeling very hectic all over the place, we can be thinking of the job to do next, the job to do the week after, the job that's got to come up. We've got to think about what we've got to do when we get home, and it becomes really hard to be present. Now it's important to be present for a number of reasons. A, we can actually be paying attention to what is going on and the person that maybe we're talking to or listening to. So therefore we understand what's going on. We form a better connection with that person. And that again also prevents misunderstanding. It prevents potential complaints that are coming at you, or prevents you missing the information that you need to be able to do the job right. So staying present, again, it's an investment. It means that you're saving time later. What's that line about? If you don't have time to do it right now, will you have time to go back and fix it when you've got it wrong? So that little bit of time to take a little bit longer to understand and to make sure you're all connecting correctly and all on the same page. One of the big values of some whakawhanangatanga at the beginning of a meeting, really, it just allows that space to connect so that you're in the same space and you're in the same place on all those different levels, so that actually you don't have to go back and redo that work. Trying to think about this, we're just racing, whereas actually just that little bit of just stopping, slowing down a little bit, connecting in. Are we all here? Are we all present? Okay, now let's have the conversation and we can get on with our work much more efficiently. So one of the exercises that I first learned from a gorgeous psychologist that I worked with, and I have seen in a number of different spaces, but equally I was doing a course recently and it was the meditation that was used as part of the lead into one of the sessions we did. And so it's kind of like, oh, that's really interesting that that's coming at me from a number of different spaces at the moment. I thought it's teaching me a lesson, but I thought it was a good one to share. and it's been around using all of your senses. Now, if you are a listener to this podcast and you are driving, I want to put in that health and safety word of warning that this is not a closed eye meditation. This is not something that you can't listen to while driving, but I would also make sure that you're paying attention to the road. Or if you're cycling, I have no idea. Would you listen to a podcast while cycling? Okay, that's going to just let me pondering on that thought. Okay, let's not get distracted, Katie. So this meditation, you can use it by working through your thumb touching each of your 4 fingers. That's how the gorgeous psychologist taught me to it. Or you can just work through your senses. And it doesn't actually matter what order you do it in, it's the remembering. So if you just stop for a moment and take that breath, take a nice big breath in, and just feel yourself wherever it is that you are, sitting or standing. Just notice your feet on the floor or sitting in the chair holding you. And then have a look around. What can you see right now? What is it that your eyes are noticing? Is it the colours around you? Is it the people around you? Is there a window you can look out of? What are you noticing? What can you see? What are your eyes picking up? And the next one is, what can you hear? Just get really quiet and think about, what is it you're hearing? You have my dulcet tones talking to you. Maybe there's traffic. Maybe there's other noises. Maybe it's birds, or you can hear the wind blowing through the trees. What is it that you can hear right now? And then take a big breath in. And what can you smell? Struggle with this one the most, I have to say. It's been really interesting. So this is not if you are driving, do not close your eyes, but I will often close my eyes at this point and take that really big breath in. Just see, let's just really try and concentrate on my sense of smell. What can I smell? Maybe you're in a coffee shop, that'll be a great smell. Maybe there's fresh bread. Maybe it's the rain on the road. Maybe it's grass, the earthy. What is it can you smell? And then the last one, what is it that you can feel? Is it the sense of your clothes against your skin? If you're outside, is it the air, the wind, the coldness or the warmth against your skin? Is it the feeling your feet on the floor, or how your shoes are feeling? How are they fitting in? And then take that big breath again. So that just was a few minutes. I forgot to check the timer, but it was definitely not 10 minutes. Potentially around 5. But probably under 5, to be honest. And you just have stopped and just reacquainted yourself and your body with where you're at. You're also calming yourself down in that space and just being in the present here and now. And that allows you to then go, okay, what's next? Where are we going to now? Where am I? What am I doing? You can move forward with that sense of, it's a confidence, I believe, because you've grounded yourself in where you're at right now. So it's a really simple technique that you can use any time in any situation, just to remind yourself to be present. It's a great cooling and calming and grounding technique that you can use, say like before a meeting, before a conversation, just getting you a little more, grounded is the best word I can think of for it. One of my favourite ways to stay grounded in the hustle of the rush of every day and the pressure that was there was almost like a walking meditation. Now, if you are rushing from meeting to meeting, this works really well. If you are sitting back to back on Zoom meetings or Teams meetings, this is less easy to do. But you could probably still nuance it. And I would do a kind of a really paying attention to my feet. So as I was going from meeting to meeting, if I've just finished one meeting, it's like, okay, I'm done with that meeting now. I've got my list of actions, yep. And I'm about to go to the next meeting. This helped me set myself up so I was in the best state for showing up as my best self in the next meeting. And so I would, as I was paying attention to my feet, I would just almost feel them rolling across the floor and almost pick up what the textures were of was this carpet I was walking across, or was this stairs I was going down? Was there rough edges to the edges of stairs? And just really paying attention to my feet rolling in my shoes across the floor. And that would be what I would concentrate on as I was walking to the next meeting, or herring to the next meeting. It wasn't really a walk. It's more of that very powered race when you're got those days of back-to-back meetings. So from the very simple few minutes of just grounding yourself and getting present in the moment, that allows your space and your energy to just rebuild and to solidify, I guess. To spending a bit longer, like those 10, 15 minutes, the beginning and the end of your day, to do some reflection. How's my day gone? What has been a great thing about the day? What's one thing I could have done better? There are some really cool reflection techniques. Got a lot of links to that on my website. I'll pop a few links into the show notes. You can tell that little meditation thing's like, yeah, okay, now quite chilled now. Thanks. And then there's the longer stuff, like sitting down with a friend or a mentor or a coach or a supervisor and having that session when you go, okay, this is what's on my plate right now, and this is how my energy is feeling right now. What are the things that are influencing my energy, and what are the things I can do to rebuild my energy? And let's just understand that through, whether that be through a reflection or whether that be through just chatting over the issues and understanding what the real challenge is that you're struggling with. So this week it's been about, there is a lot going on. There is a lot of pressure, there is a lot of demand, there is a lot of high expectation. And there's also a lot of care and concern and compassion and drive and motivation, and people want to do a good job. You really care about the work that you're doing right now, and it matters that you get the stuff done. And that's all really cool, and it is really admirable, and it is really amazing, and thank goodness there are so many people that care that much about healthcare. And equally, there's this space of permission and realization that some time of reflection, of pausing, of rest is actually an investment of your time and your energy so that you can continue to do all that great work that you're doing. The work is always going to be there. There is more work than there is time to do. The demands are very high. So this is about how you manage and invest your time and energy well. The work is always going to be there. How you show up matters. It has impacts to how well you work. What's the word I'm after? Completely lost the word. How good the work that you produce is influenced by how you're showing up and where your energy is at. And you care about the work that you do. How you show up influences and impacts the people around you, from the people that you're passing, just walking by, to the teams that you're working with. And that has ripple effects. So if you snap down the phone at someone, they're then going to snap at somebody else, and it just goes on. And when we are constantly on this rush of busy and constantly doing stuff, we don't notice when we've got tired. We don't notice that we're just getting a bit snappy with each other, because our senses are just that dulledness. I don't think that's a real word either. So how the work is always going to be there. How you show up matters. And that some small tweaks, the few minutes of finding a way to be present in that moment, the small tweaks that you can put in between one thing and another, that reset, to the planning of your day, the where can I do some reflection because I know that's going to be make me more productive and happier. and more comfortable and more confident in my work? And is there somebody that I can work alongside? Is there a friend, a coach, a mentor that I can work with that is going to be able to support me and give me a different perspective? So we've gone from that haringness of the crazy image of someone on a treadmill that you're racing with and you're juggling and people are throwing extra things at you at the same time, to the what are the ways that you can bring some pace, some perspective, assurance of your energy in that sustainableness that we need. I really am making up words all over the place today. The way that we can sustain your leadership. Thank you so much for choosing to listen, because just the 20 minutes that you're spending listening today is that space of pausing, reflecting and taking a breath. It's the reason I do this, because I do believe that there is so much going on. It's just that little bit of a tune in to something else that is going to boost your energy. So thank you so much for being part of this. I'd love it if you're enjoying the podcast, pop a review into Apple or star rate me on Spotify. That would be absolutely awesome. And tell people that you are working with, that you know would appreciate this 20 minutes out of different perspectives on the different topics that we are working through. I hope you've enjoyed the couple of meditation mindfulness exercises that I've shared today, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of my list I created from my walk around the park this morning for the next episode of the Leadership Lounge. Lovely to be with you again this week. Take care, have fun, and see you next week in the Leadership Lounge.